Welcome back, everybody. Things have been super hectic in my personal life, so I haven't had a chance to touch any of my projects out here in the garage in a good long while. So I started thinking about simple things that I can help you guys out with, things I didn't know how to do before I got into the auto body trade. So in today's episode, we're going to go over how to clean a spray gun. Let's get to it. So we're going to need a few things before we get started here. First off, we are going to need some gum wash and a bottle for our gum wash. I like these DeVilbiss bottles. They're fairly cheap, around 10 to 15 bucks. The gum wash you can buy in 5-gallon pails. I use 5-star virgin gum wash. I don't know if you can buy this by the gallon. You'd have to consult your local automotive or auto body supply store. There's going to be lots in your city. Then we're going to need a cup. Use a mixing cup for disposal. Don't use a red Solo cup. They will melt. Gum wash will melt right through them. Then we're going to want a gun cleaning kit or some sort of utensils. I'll go through a bit of that as we get going. We're going to want some gun grease. Not 100% necessary, but it is nice to use. Not normal grease, gun grease for spray guns. And then we're going to need a gun wrench as well and some gloves, paper towel. I use torque cloths because they don't lint at all, or very little anyway. And then it's also nice to have a blowgun. So we're also going to need a spray gun, I suppose. Whip out my little case of gloriousness here. Use my 5000 phaser for this video. Obviously this gun isn't dirty, but I'm going to go over how to clean them anyway. So I'm going to go through two methods here on how to clean them. One is sort of I like to call it a quick and dirty method, and then another one's a little more thorough without actually fully breaking down the gun. So for starters here, we're going to need to do some disassembly. What you can do, for a quick start anyway, if you're running a SATA Atom, be sure to put your little cap on the back here. It doesn't protect it 100%, but keeps most of the gunk from getting off the back of your regulator mount there. So I'm editing here and I realized I completely forgot to address spraying with waterborne paint. If you try to use gum wash with waterborne paint, it's just going to coagulate, they're not going to get along, and it's going to make it even harder to clean your gun. So at this point, what I would do if I had sprayed waterborne paint and there was some paint residue left in there, I would blow it out with either a squirt bottle and some water or a water-based cleaner if you have it. If you're in a shop environment, you generally are going to have some water-based cleaner around as well, which works really well for cleaning water-based paint. So I would do that first, and then I can continue along like this. So nice thing about these bottles, you just give them a squeeze and they will fill up. As you can see, that's filled right up there. I can give the trigger a squeeze and that'll just run a little thinner through the gun. Nothing too fancy there. So either way here, we're going to clean. We're going to take off our air cap. And this is the quick and dirty way. So you're going to want to pull your trigger. And the reason we pull our trigger when we do this is we don't want our fluid tip touching our needle as we unscrew it, because that can damage the fluid tip. So we're just going to use our gun wrench and untwist our fluid tip. Beautiful. And that gives us most of the access we're going to need if we're just doing a quick clean in between coats. Say you're doing a tri-stage, you sprayed your one color and then you're going to spray your mid coat. This is going to get more than enough product out of the gun that you're not going to worry about color issues. However, it's not going to clean out all the residue. So that's where I like to use a chip brush, a cheap $2 chip brush. So also I'm going to keep my gun not quite upside down, but sort of pointed down. That's going to keep any thinner from getting down and into the gun as we clean here. So let me make sure I stay on camera here for you guys. So I'm just going to give everything another quick blast here. And then we're going to want to clean in and around the needle there. Obviously we don't want anything in there. That's where it's nice using the chip brush. You can use those long bristles to get right in there. Beautiful. And we'll just give that another quick blast. And then I really like these brushes. They come with the SATA spray guns when you buy them in their kit. Obviously that comes at a bit of a premium. But we're just going to go in there. We're going to clean out all the nooks and crannies inside where our pot sits. And again, let's give that guy a little blast. And obviously if I just sprayed, you'd clearly be able to see if there's any paint or anything in here. In this case, it was quite clean to begin with. And normally, actually, I'll go ahead and just demonstrate for you. It doesn't hurt to give the outside. You're going to get a little overspray on there, so it definitely doesn't hurt. This is something you can either use your chip brush for, give everything just a nice brushing, or you can take, throwing parts around, you can take this style of brush, sure to give everything a quick rub down on the outside. I like to move the trigger back, get in behind where the trigger sits. One thing to be careful of, I just did it there. I don't like to hit anything with these metal tips. That's why I do really like these little guys in the chip brushes. You don't have an exposed metal sharp tip that's going to scratch your gun. So just something to be aware of while you're cleaning with one of these styles is be careful of that. So we've rubbed that. We're just going to give another quick rinse. And to finish that off, we'll just give this guy a very light blast of air. I'm not going ham on it. Don't want to hurt any of our seals. Also, it's a good idea to wear safety glasses as well as your gloves while you're doing this, so you're not blasting any of that gum wash back into your eyes. I have gotten it in my contacts before. Not a good time. All right, so we'll just set our gun aside there. And then our fluid tip. Air cap will go to next. Give that guy a little rinse on the inside and outside. The SATA phasers, really nice feature is both the 5500 and the 5000s like this. You can pop the end right out. It's nice for a quick clean on something like this. Whereas on the 3000s, 5000s, and any of the older generation guns, you do actually have to remove a big clip to remove these parts. So we'll just give this guy a nice, real quick scrub there. Hitting in our horns, we don't want to have any paint residue sitting in these holes. And nice little scrub on the inside as well. And give that guy a rinse. And just be aware they do get pretty slippery. So hold tight if you're blowing them off. Hold tight anyway, you don't want to damage these. And then our fluid tip. So our fluid tip, obviously we want this quite clean, so we're going to give her a rinse. I like to go on the inside with one of these guys. And then for the actual tip, in this gun cleaning kit from Amazon, you can use one of these little guys, like a tiny, tiny pipe cleaner. And it's made specifically for you cleaning these. I've seen guys use welding tip cleaners. However, those are abrasive and they can hurt the mating surface inside here. And we'll give that guy a little blow. Beautiful. Oh, and I totally missed this outer cap here for the air cap. We'll give that guy a little brush real quick. Obviously, this doesn't actually mate to anything. There's no actual product flowing next to this guy, but it is good to keep it clean because 99% of the time when you get dust nibs in your job, it's either coming off you or your gun. Maybe not 99% of the time, but a good portion of the time. And we'll give that guy a little blow. All right, and that's pretty much it for the quick and dirty clean, guys. I will just reassemble everything. And obviously I'm talking and explaining as I go here, so it's going to take a little bit longer. Again, pulling the trigger while I'm tightening this guy down. Actually, well, the entire time I'm screwing it on. And then let's get our air cap back on. That guy pops in like that. Beautiful. And this is very similar for Iwata's and DeVilbiss guns. There are some slight differences, but if I can get a few of those guns, maybe from one of my buddies, I can do a video on those as well. And beautiful. Obviously, doing it this way, you don't really get a chance to use your gun grease. So that's our quick and dirty way. Let's clean it the way I like to normally do it. This is going to make sure you get everything out of there and not leave excessive residue in the gun. So in this case, we're going to disassemble it a touch further. So we're going to remove our fluid adjustment. We're going to remove our fluid tip. Going to remove our air cap. And so SATA makes this one as well. I prefer their nylon one. I think it's a fiber-infused nylon, plastic, fancy plastic, whatever you want to call it. I prefer this one. Less of a chance you're going to round out your fluid tip. Fluid tips are expensive because they sell them with the needle. So we'll pop that guy off. Beautiful. And now, as you can see, we have a lot more access to the inside of that gun there. Now when we spray in this guy, we can use this cleaner and get all the way in there. We don't need to worry about getting our chip brush in there because this will clean everything in there really nicely. And again, with this too, you can, I don't know if you can see on camera there, you can actually get the bristles, yeah, all the way down from the top side, which is nice. And go around the outside there. Normally it's just air that flows through this outer passage. However, during cleaning and disassembly, and if you get any paint leaking on your gun, you can get some nasty stuff in there. All right, so we'll give that guy a little blow off. All right, so our gun is clean there. You know, I'm not going to clean the fluid tip and the air cap again. I just showed you guys how to do that. For the needle, so obviously this is our needle that allows our fluid adjustment. This guy I like to just wipe with a cloth. Get rid of any residue on it. These are like a polished surface, so they clean quite easily, especially if you clean it quickly after spraying. Beautiful. And that's about it as far as cleaning it further goes. You're able to pull the needle out doing it this way, as well as clean right inside the fluid passage on the gun. So it's a little more thorough. It takes an extra minute or two over the other way I showed you. But again, sometimes when you're in a shop, high production, that minute or two makes a difference. If I'm in my garage, I'm going to clean it like this every time, actually disassemble it. This is not a full disassembly though. You can remove a ton more stuff on these guns. You can remove like these plungers. You can take off your fan adjustment. You can take out the regulator here and clean right inside all these passages. There's a lot more you can do to these guns. I might do that in a further video, but for today, I'm just doing what you'd normally do when cleaning your spray gun after spraying a small job. Gun grease. We'll get into where gun grease comes in here. So we want it on the plunger part of our needle here. So I'm not putting a ton on there, just a little dab. And we'll just smooth that out with our finger. Set that guy aside. And then I'm also going to throw a little bit just on my fluid adjustment spring here, just because this does spin around. It does contact the needle as you're using it. So just putting a little bit on there, spreading it around. Then the last place I like to put a little bit is on the plunger on the back of our needle here. So just a little dab right in there. Beautiful. I try to get that on both sides. And that's going to keep everything nice and smooth and working well. I'm just going to wipe that excessive grease back off my finger. It wasn't much there, but you obviously don't want to get it all over your gun. And then we'll just screw our fluid tip back in. Again, we don't need to worry about our needle or pulling our trigger right now because our needle is not in there. And these, we don't want to go super tight with them, just snug. If you do get any sputtering while you're spraying, so if you're spraying and it's going that was horrible, but if it's doing something like that, it could just be you need to tighten your fluid tip a little bit more. So if you have to disassemble it real quick and do that, not the end of the world. I'll put our air cap back on. Get our fluid tip in there. Beautiful. And lastly, our fluid adjustment. Beautiful. And that's just about it. Thank you so much for joining me today, guys. One thing I didn't touch on there was proper disposal. Obviously, we didn't go through too much product there, just a little bit of solvent in our bucket here. However, that does have to be disposed of properly. You don't want to throw that down a drain. Talk to the auto body store you buy your gun wash from. They should be able to give you a reference of somewhere you can go to dispose of that. I personally like to keep a 5-gallon pail with all my excess waste, and then I dispose of that properly when it's close to full. I've thrown a few links in the description for the stuff I use, namely the gun wash kit and the squirt bottle. I didn't put the DeVilbiss one on there because it's insanely expensive on Amazon. It's far cheaper at an auto body shop, so I'd look into that first. However, I did throw a 3-pack on there of some that are significantly cheaper and are the same product, a low-density polyethylene, solvent-resistant. Pretty much the same thing, just doesn't have the name on the side. And those links are Amazon affiliate links, so those do help me out if you guys purchase through them, which is awesome. Lets me keep doing these videos for you and expand my channel. If you guys enjoyed today's episode, please be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. We'll see you next time.